You.
Got it.
Thank you, Ashton. I'm sorry. Who gives
So moved.
Thanks, John. Is there a second on the minutes?
Second.
Thank you, Eric. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Minutes from our meeting are approved. Item number 4, report and vote on the multimodal economic study. Marcus.
Thank you. I'm going to try to move through this quickly because you've just listened to me for an hour. So back in February, we started a contract. Back in February of 2025, we started a contract with Metro Analytics that became Jack Bosman and Associates to do a multimodal economic impact study for the region. This is generally the area you can see the blue dashed line is, of course, our planning area boundary. The red line is actually our model, travel band model boundary. We use the travel band model boundary as the main source of data and the analysis being done. In addition, we purchase plan data, which is economic data. We actually purchased that to cover the entire state, each zip code. That is available for anyone who's interested in having access to that. And then the consultants works quantify directly. So why are we doing this? That was a good idea. The economic impact of transportation investment services it's important, but we have never really done a study to really quantify it. So we were hoping that coming out of the previous long range plan and moving into the next long range plan, we'll be able to transition some of this information and show you that as projects get built and as funding gets continued, we can quantify those benefits and tell you exactly how much benefit each project will bring for the region. So, how about some findings? Not sure I give you full background. There are 4 general areas that looked at for economic change, direct stimulus, essentially what is being spent on transportation, the user benefit, cost saving. Those you can assume are quantified the same way as like benefits are for benefit cost analysis for grants. Improved market access is how well you actually get employees around the region to different destinations and how much access do they have to different jobs. And then business attraction would be new businesses that get brought to the region, supported by improved transportation projects. So, yeah. Now we get fun stuff. If you look at our existing system over there, if you were just to maintain it, this is what we have quantified as our outlays, about $4 billion. If we move forward into our long-range plan, and you said all those projects that we have planned out of those out years, if you quantify those estimated project costs, we're upwards of above $12 billion in costs broken out by different categories. You can see that highway and bridge expansion is the largest category. And you can see that doesn't show up in our existing system because we're just maintaining it. This is a great, wonderful table. What you want to know is really kind of this additional planned investment. This is the change here. But what this is showing are those benefits to users for each of the different categories. So if you, again, go back and relate this to your benefit cost analysis for projects that you submit for grants, this lines up pretty directly with that. That's how they use the analysis for it. They use the SDOTs, right? So you can see here that, per, hold on a sec. Passengers were looking at about $2 billion in vehicle operating cost savings over the course of 25 years. So it becomes pretty substantial. If you look down here at the end, there's our outlays that the change in outlays. So it's about $7 billion. So the efficiency comes in at about 12 versus 7. So we do see economic benefits per users. Um, Looking at this in a more summarized way, what you're seeing here again, I would recommend looking at this incremental estimate units change. So you see the user benefits that we were talking about, see the benefit per dollar outlay. So when we move from the existing system, maintaining the existing system into the long range plan, we spend more money on projects, but we still get $1.54 in benefit for each of those dollars. So it's pretty positive there. And as you go down, you have other metrics that we look at. So jobs supported, these are additional jobs that we added directly related to transportation investment. So this is about 4,000 jobs get added. Household income is about $3 billion in added household income over the 25-year period. The value added is essentially for businesses and households, like the GDP of the region goes up about $6 billion. And then your business output, so how much more in sales businesses have, goes up by about $10 billion. So we're seeing a lot of benefit in investing in transportation projects, is what we can say. So we want to keep investing in transportation projects. And this is why we need to keep asking for federal dollars and supplement local dollars to keep building projects. About market access, there was a study done as part of this. One of the reports looked at market access, so which job categories, the different categories are producing more, are doing better because of transportation investments. And what you can see here is like financial insurance sector, which is obviously we have a nice little note of that industry that improves. Real estate improves, transportation warehousing improves, all across the board, everything pretty much improves with the transportation investment. If you look at it based on where we're mapping projects and where we're seeing the benefits, you can really see that you have clusters that see more benefit than others. We're seeing a lot of benefit going out on the west because of transportation improvements. Monterey and Mitchellville, Altoona area, all see improvements, and then there's less through kind of down on the southeast side. Again, this is looking at business output, so gain sales by different categories. Professional services and scientific services, these are the greatest increase due to our investment in long-range transportation plan project. Additionally, insurance and things like that. So, some of the key findings from the multimodal aspect of it, looking at everything together, our long-range plan generates $4.10 business output for every dollar invested. That's great. By 2050, transportation improvements will enable businesses to access expanded labor. That's great. There's all of our expected benefits that you can see across the board there. So generally, we're saying that everything's positive. So we need to keep investing in transportation. I think everyone agrees. So some trans-specific impact need. If you have specific questions about this, I would kick it over to Tony. But I'm going to cover it for you quickly. These are transit specific. So for the transit component, we compared the existing network to the new network that they're moving to in a matter of weeks. Next week, but essentially what it comes down to is for the user benefits that we're saying, we see that the new network turns about $1.48 for every dollar invested, which is really positive. You can see it's an improvement over the existing network. So really great improvement with this new network. Business output, again, we see a higher business output with the new network compared to the existing network. So that also is positive. key takeaway line. If you look online at the link that was shared in the agenda, you'll find reports 2 and 3, or sorry, 1 and 3. Those are the multimodal aspects. Transit pieces are still not available online, but have substantially been completed. Right now, it's just a matter of waiting to kind of roll that out. And then there was a component looking again at the workforce participation as it relates to the transit. So you can see there that again, we're comparing existing versus new. Everything is positive. So we're seeing a lot of additional benefit from going to this new system that Darth laid out. And I think that that's going to be a real benefit to the region as we move forward. Especially now that we have this data and the model to support it, we can continue to analyze transit investment over the years. So. Additionally, there was a fourth report that looked at some of the fiscal impacts of transit related to users. And one of the things that I think is important is that when you think about the cost of transit and the cost of some of these other things, keeping transit and investing in transit actually helps you save money and reduce costs for things like emergency shelters, law enforcement, and healthcare. Because if you don't have transit, based on the study, you would see increases in all of those areas. So I think that's all I have to say. So our recommendation from staff is that we receive and file this. I do acknowledge that not all the reports are online, so if you choose not to receive and file today and we push that off, that's fine with me. We can wait until all those reports are done and available, accessible. That might just be a few weeks. Any questions? I know the tool is way more exciting.
Any questions on the multimodal impact study, economic impact study? Important information in there, especially with transportation reauthorization coming up for us to use for federal conversations to ensure that that continues to get funded at its current or more levels. If not, I'd look for a motion to receive and file if there's interest in that. If not, it sounds like full reports will be available in a couple of weeks if we want to wait till our August meeting.
Okay.
Is there a second? Moved to receive and file today. Is there a second? Thank you, Jeff. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Thank you. Moving on to the fiscal year 26-29 TIP program amendment. Adam.
Thank you. Morning. We have one amendment before you today to the current TIP 26 through 29. This comes from the Iowa Department of Transportation and involves a highway pavement widening project out in the southeast side of our planning area near Carlisle. Total federal aid amount $720,000. Total project cost $800,000, and the funding, federal funding, is coming from the HSIP program. Happy to answer any questions. Otherwise, I would entertain a motion to approve.
So second. Thank you, Eric. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That is approved. Addison on the 2730 program.
Yes, thank you again. All right, staff are required to develop a 4-year transportation improvement program, as you all know. You've all been very helpful with providing information from the status reports over the past month and a half, so thank you for that. The TIP has been drafted and posted to our website, and that will be submitted to the Iowa DOT by June 15th for their initial comments. We do ask at this point that you review the project list starting on page 50 for any missing projects, any corrections that need to be made. It's definitely possible with human error on our side. I hope that everything's fine there. So our public comment period will run from tomorrow until July 6th to meet our public participation plan requirements of a 30-day comment period. And just a correction to the agenda, I apologize. The public input meeting will be held in our offices on Thursday, June 15th in the morning, 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. We'll have that sent out with corrections at the post-meeting email. We're moving to a morning time for that public input meeting. We haven't seen a lot of folks come in when it's held at night in the past, so we're hoping to see maybe a little uptick on participation in that. Happy to answer any questions on the tip for now. Otherwise, staff would recommend approval.
Any questions on the tip? Now we need a motion to approve draft.
Move to approve.
Okay, so a second.
Second.
Yeah, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next item is a report for the fiscal year 27 to 30 Transportation Capital Improvement Program. Claire.
Hi, I'm Claire Hamilton. I'm the intern with the MPO this summer, and one of my main projects will be working on the Transportation Capital Improvement Program, which is something the MPO does every year. So the goal of the TCIP is to help get an understanding of all the transportation capital improvement projects going on in the region. And so what I'm asking for from you is your capital improvement programs, as well as we'll be sending out a short form for you all to fill out. And hopefully by June 25th. So that way we can have it reported in the August meeting.
Any questions for Claire on the TCIP? Excellent. We will look for that information from you to submit. Next item is a report on the STBG and set aside program. Marcus.
Okay, I don't actually know what's on this slide. As you know, we presented our application tool this morning at Dollars and Donuts. This lays out the schedule for STBG applications. We're going to open it July 1st. Applications are due August 7th. You can see the public comment period and when the subcommittee meetings will be. But the goal, of course, is to have the awards approved in November so that there's plenty of time for you to work on your budget for next year. With the information about STBG awards. Right. Some notes. Okay, perfect. Got a responsibility. So again, this year we're awarding 2 cycles because we put a pause on STBG and CAP. So you can see there are the targets for both those years. We were assuming that 2031 is going to continue be the same based on hopefully having continuing resolution if the reauthorization hasn't been completed yet. We're going to use the online scoring tool as we mentioned. Please indicate your preference for year. If you don't, we'll probably have a conversation about which year would make the most sense. And then, like I said, it's 2 cycles. Any questions? And if you missed the Dollars and Donuts this morning, that's okay. I'll send out like a recording of it without a run tool.
Model is on the website for us to use. Any questions on program schedule? Perfect. Addison, active transportation plan update.
Yes, hello again. So our long-awaited active transportation plan is being posted onto our website. The 1st and the 4th chapter are available for public comment at this point. Overall, the purpose of the active transportation plan titled Interconnect, which is a reference to the last active transportation plan from 2009. Overall purpose is to define the MPO's role in active transportation planning, which includes on-street and off-street facilities, as well as transit access, moving forward ahead of the next LRTP update. The plan followed the define, discover, distill process that we like to do here at the MPO. We initially, internally as staff, defined active transportation. We reviewed the Connect plan, the Iowa DOT bike and pedestrian plan, as well as work that's been done in the region since the Connect plan in the past 15 years. Find active transportation and discover those regional priorities, which was also supplemented through the walkabouts that we had with you all, as well as our survey, public engagement, the walkout of workshop, the Dogtown District, and our roundtable that has all been instrumental to discovering and distilling down to the plan that you will be reviewing over the next couple months. The plan is laid out as 4 chapters. We have our introduction, the first, and our implementation chapters up for public comment now on our website. And the existing conditions and the stakeholder and public engagement chapters, those second and third ones, are forthcoming in the coming weeks. As you'll see in the implementation chapter, we've distilled our role through the 4 goals of the long-range transportation plan, mobilizing tomorrow. But 4 main areas where we see ourselves leading or supporting further analysis include our corridor walk audits, which will supplement our Vision Zero roadway safety audits. We'll be supporting regional planning for trail crossings, encouraging that active transportation elements are included in future STBG projects, and developing that regional level of stress and considering incorporating that into our scoring. Other action items you can find in the implementation chapter on the website. We'll be holding a 45-day public comment period, kind of leave some room for those chapters that are still forthcoming. After that, we'll be implementing feedback received, updating with planned transportation projects, and updating the plan design. It'll be an opportune time to review your active transportation projects that might not have been captured in the last PCIP as you're preparing that for Claire. So I think there's good timing on that. And then we'll be bringing this plan back for committee approval in August. Happy to answer any questions now. Otherwise, it's just a report.
Any questions for Addison? Thank you. We'll all review the draft chapters. All right, next item is the freight plan update. Janet.
Hello, everyone. Now, MPO staff has been working on a freight plan, and I'm happy to give you an update for today. As a reminder, the purpose of this plan is to provide an examination of how the freight system impacts central Iowa. How this plan developed started with you guys. A survey was sent out to you in the fall last year and in January of this year. Additionally, in that first January and February tech meetings, there was a map presented to you all. You guys posted impediments on those maps, and those are included in the plan. From there, MPO staff presented at the Iowa DOT Freight Advisory Council, where we got great stakeholder input through discussion, and this helped inform the plan considerations chapter and the safety chapter. From there, MPO staff hosted 4 freight working groups sessions. This is with either freight working group members identified over here. Our very own John Davis was included in that, along with stakeholders from Iowa Interstate Railroad, Des Moines Industrial, the Des Moines Airport, and Ruan, as well as the DOT. So I'm going to provide an outline if you haven't been able to review those chapters yet. Starting with the introduction, which just talks about regional freight planning, the history of freight planning here at the MPO, along with the stakeholder engagement, the purpose, and the outline of the plan. And then followed by existing conditions, where we explore the networks of truck routes, aviation, rail, and pipelines. From there, we looked at infrastructure. So these are the freight generating facilities located across the region. And lastly, we talked about impediments in this chapter, which looked at those that you identified, looked at bottlenecks and choke points identified by the Iowa DOT, and lastly, identified rail crossings at grade public rail crossings. From there, chapter 3 discusses safety. So we did a safety analysis on trucking, rail, and pipelines in the region. We didn't include aviation because at this time there aren't any safety concerns. Starting with truck, looked at that high injury network that was presented back in February, and we also did a crash analysis using IHAT data. From there, we looked at rail. So we looked at train accidents and rail incidences at crossings, and also includes hazmat routes located across the region. And then lastly, looking at the pipelines, we looked at the locations of where the pipelines are, what goods were being moved, and also what facilities are located. From there, we looked at planning considerations. So these are our trends that we anticipate seeing in the future and now. And this is broken down into 4 categories, which include safety, the economy, automation, electrification, and future projects. So starting with safety, this was broken down into looking at truck parking, also planning for corridor planning. And this basically explaining how being considerate of land uses along freight corridors. From there, we move into the economy, which looks at workforce, which looks at same-day delivery, which looked at dimensions of vehicles and provides legislation that's coming up regarding those areas. We then move into automation and electrification, so looking at the automation of trucking and also the transition into electric freight vehicles. And lastly, future projects. These are Iowa DOT projects that have been identified in the rail plan and their upcoming 5-year plan. We encourage that if you have any freight-related projects that you would like interested to include it in this plan, that you are allowed to do so. Feel free to email me with those, and that will be included in this chapter. And then lastly, there are implementation chapters. This is what the MPO is going to do regarding the contents of this plan. So these are the 3 main areas that we found through the development of this plan that the MPO will lead or support on, along with some additional implementation items. So first was rail crossings, it's a big thing that we noticed. So looking into warning devices, looking into the safety of the existing crossings. Then looking into truck routes, looking at existing truck routes, their safety gaps and future demand. And then lastly, the Iowa DOT emphasized truck parking, and we want to align with them on that. So that's something that will help support the Iowa DOT on. And these can all be found in the implementation chapter. And lastly, the next steps regarding this plan. There's going to be a 30-day public comment period that is currently up on the website. You can make your comments there or feel free to email me. This will include, during this period, I'll be providing updates. We had our last working group session yesterday, so I got feedback through there that will be implemented in this update of this plan, as well as the plan design will be implemented as well. This plan we brought back to you in August for voting and approval, and that's just something to have on your radar. So when you have a chance, please review those chapters and provide some feedback. Are there any questions?
Any questions for Janet on the freight plan? If not, draft chapters are available for review before it comes back at our August meeting. All right, thank you, Janet. Other item, Addison.
Just one. Our events page did not make it into the agenda. That'll be included in the post-meeting follow-up. However, there's this one event we wanted to highlight here. The Brenton SLU grand opening is this weekend, June 6th. Allison, is there anything you'd like to share on that?
So this is a big project, and we're working on finalizing the contract with for the transportation study. But this is a great way to engage with that space this weekend if you'd like to go out. It's gonna be fun and hot.
That's all for us.
I have just 3 other things. One, we did not throw out the leaders of this organization. Dylan and Gunnar are actually at DMDC, so that's why we're all leading the charge here today. 2, we do have Claire Hamilton, so you already met her through her presentation item, but she will be with us for this summer, so we welcome her to the staff. I, unlike other people, don't put her picture up on that, so you're welcome there. And then our esteemed Janet just recently graduated from Iowa State and got her master's in community and regional planning just in the last couple of weeks. And now she's finalized her first plan as well. So we congratulate her and all that as well. So that's all for us.
Thank you, Allison. Our next meeting, there is not a July meeting, but so our next meeting will be in August, where several of those draft plans will be coming back for approval. So extra time to review those. With that, I would look for a motion to adjourn.
Before we go, I'd just like to recognize Jeff Metz, his last meeting.
Yes.
Yeah. So, thank you.
Congratulations, Jeff, and I heard you grab that motion for adjournment.
Yes.
Yes. Meeting is adjourned.
Did you do that?